This video is going to talk about graphing inequalities, and they're not that bad. You just got to try it a few times. So the first step is solve the inequality, whichever inequality you're talking about, and I'll take another video on that because that's going to be a bit depending. Step 2. So you get an or equal, like this first one here, x is less than or equal to -4. Then in order to signify that you can use the -4 as one of the endpoints, you are either going to start the process at -4 or with either a bracket, or you're going to use a closed dot. Now, people that are perhaps younger than me, maybe, you might have seen the bracket be used more often. Those of us that are my age and older, we tended to use the dots. They each have their advantage, so I really don't care which one you use. And that goes for all of my students, but obviously I'm not everybody's teacher, so I'd ask. We are going to graph this inequality of x is less than or equal to -4. So we're going to jump down to number 4 because number 3 doesn't apply. We're going to choose a test point. Let's choose the test point 0. So then we ask ourselves, is 0 less than or equal to -4? And it's not. So we start at -4 and we go this way. How long does the line have to be? Yes. So there's not really a good answer for that. Again, it's a lot of, what do you need? It's pretty obvious it's going to continue on in that direction forever and ever and ever, so that's good by me. So you either finish out the bracket here in the direction of the arrow. That's the most common. Again, the other option is you can just put a solid dot. That's fine too. So that's how you do it. Now the assumption here is that you're discussing all real numbers. If you are not discussing real numbers, but you're talking about fractions, or I wouldn't use fractions unless you're being more specific. I apologize if there's a lot of background noise. My son is apparently having issues in a video game. But in the event that you're talking about, say, integers, then instead of a line, you're going to have to put dots at the individual steps. And then up here, just above the arrow that would continue, you would put an ellipsis. That's going to tell you that the pattern continues in that direction in perpetuity. So that's the key to it. So we'll jump down here and do this. The inequality has been solved, or so we guess. And you know the inequality is solved because you got the variables by itself. I mean, that's really all it needs to be. And so we're going to skip number 2 because we don't have the or equal, but we do have a less than or greater than symbol. In this case, it's x is greater than 3. So I'm just going to put kind of a line here at 3. That's going to be my end point. So I have to know what direction I'm going. Lots of people have given lots of different advice as far as does the alligator eat the larger number, or does the arrow point towards a smaller number? I don't care. However you want to remember it is fine by me. So I'm going to guess that 4 is going to be a solution. So I'm going to check, is 4 in fact greater than 3? And it is. So I'm going to draw a line on that side. My lines aren't very straight today. And then I'm going to use a parenthesis or an open dot. The open dot says that I cannot actually include 3 in the solution set. However, everything going up to 3 from the high side, so we say it from the right side, but that's assuming that you orient your number line like this. But coming at it from the more positive side, everything up to 3 is included. This is the I'm not touching you game. If you've ever played that with your siblings, or if you don't have siblings, I'm sure you've played it at school. Basically, it's how close can you get to something without actually touching it. That's the I'm not touching you game. That's what you're playing here. This final one here is sometimes referred to as a compound inequality. And it's compound because it in fact makes an and statement. So we're saying that 0 is less than or equal to x and x is less than 6. You can confirm this, by the way, by checking the endpoints, effectively covering up the variable and then asking yourself, does this make sense? Is 0 less than 6? Yes. So this is an and statement. And then what we're going to have is we're going to have x kind of squished in between, and it's going to just go from one point to another. The brackets and the parentheses apply. I'm going to do it in open and closed circles here just simply because I didn't do those on the other two examples. So I know that 0 is going to be one of them, and because I have or equals, it's going to be filled in. So I'm going to put a solid dot here. And then I know that 6 is going to be the other one, and I'm going to put an open dot here. Now, I have two options. I'm either coming onto the inside of it, or I'm going outward. So I just need to pick something that's either inside or outside to test. Let's pick 3 because it's kind of in the middle and, well, it's easy to test. So I plug a 3 in for x and I say, okay, is 0 less than 3? Yeah, all right. Is 3 less than 6? Yes. The and statement says they both must be true. So because they were both true, you just connect the two dots with a line. You want to go all the way in between the two dots, otherwise somebody's going to question, did you mean to include 5? Or so yeah, make sure you go ahead and fill all of that in. Anyway, I hope this helped. Again, remember, this is for real numbers only. If you're talking about integers, we got to do it a different way. Take care.